All right. Hails and blessings, everybody. It's your boy, Big Dave Martell here. I tried to find the bog intro. I couldn't find it. I wanted to run the old bog intro video, but unfortunately we couldn't get that stacked up for tonight. But tonight we have a really special guest. But before we get started, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, share, drop this video into all of your Telegram chats, your Discord, wherever you're at. Drop that. But we have a very special guest tonight. I have with me Mr. Michael Sagginario. He is the head of the Irminfolk Odinist Community here in Pennsylvania. He is the host of the Folkish Summer Hallowing and really respected leader in our community. Awesome guy, brilliant in many different ways. And we're going to talk to him about his various projects and all the crazy stuff that he does and gets up to. And we're going to look at a slideshow and we're going to reminisce about our wonderful time that we just had at the Folkish Summer Hallowing. Hail BS, hail Vingle, hail Roger, hail everybody coming in. Blessings to all you guys. But Mr. Mike, how we do tonight, sir?
Hail, good evening, Dave. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm beginning to recover from our 3 days in the mountains there with the blazing heat and everything. I was pretty exhausted, but what a wonderful time. So to get started, I know the Irminfolk, while you guys have been around for a long time, you haven't really had a whole lot of media presence.
Not at all.
So some of the folks tuning in might not be that familiar with you. So could you give the folks a kind of a rundown, a little introduction on who you are and who the Irminfolk are?
Oh, the Irminfolk started in 2007 in Long Island, New York. We were actually a Rodnovi group called Bjallygrom, and a few of our close friends split away from that and formed the Irminfolk, a play on the Armanen runes, Yir and Man, to indicate Irminsul. And around 2010, we had a meeting. We had a sit-down meeting at a friend's kitchen table, had a discussion and said, we're going to incorporate, we're going to create an organization, a serious kindred, and go from there and try to really take this to a more professional level. So we hired a paralegal, drafted bylaws, incorporated 501c3, the whole 9 yards, and we've been going pretty strong ever since.
Very cool. And Irminfolk is mostly here on the East Coast, but I know that there's some membership elsewhere. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we have our core members, our resident members are all within a tank of gas of each other here in Northeast Pennsylvania, New York area, New Jersey. Some out Long Island. That's about the furthest. They'll, like I said, a tank of gas, 6-hour drive, and you're beat, and you can't do a one-day event. So
yeah,
those are our resident members. Those are our core people. But we have an auxiliary program that we have members in. Some are more active than others. Some we never hear from at all, but they're happy to send us a few dollars for their membership as a subscription. But some people join the auxiliary and they're active. So we have people in that all around the world.
Excellent. So the Irminfolk, one of the things that you guys are known for is your event, the Folkish Summer Hallowing, right?
Yeah.
It is the biggest heathen event on the East Coast of the United States. I believe there's a few other ones that are kind of West Coast. There's one up in the Pacific Northwest. They do a pretty big one with the Pacific Northwest Wolf Pack. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And there's a few other organizations that do some big, but here on the East Coast, the Folkish Summer Hallowing is the big daddy, right?
Yeah, our direct competitor would be the East Coast thing, but that's run by the Troth, so it's a little bit different than what we do.
Yeah, very different.
Little different vibe.
Yeah, unis. But so anyway, we're going to talk about the Folkish Summer Hallowing. And how long has the Summer Hallowing been going on?
This weekend was our 12th. And if you count the prototype, which was Folkish Winter Nights in 2009, it would be the 13th. But this is the 12th that we've hosted exclusively.
Wow. And would you say that this year was your biggest one?
I think in terms of numbers, this was the biggest turnout. I think so. I could say for certain this was the longest sumble in Irminfolk history on Saturday night.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I've been a part. I've probably been to. I don't know. I lost count of how many bloats and stumbles I've been to. That was probably the biggest one that I've ever attended. For folks that might not be familiar, a stumble, we have two. Most of the people listening are going to know, but just for anybody that might be coming in, we have two sacred rites. One is a bloat. That's kind of like the big one. That's the sacrifice. And then we have a stumble where effectively we sit around in a big circle or square and do oaths, toasts, and boasts. And we hail the gods, we hail the ancestors, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody takes turns with the horn. And this one particularly, last Saturday, how many people do you think were in that room?
Looked like about 60,
Yeah.
maybe more.
It was a big one. It was a big one.
It sure was.
So let's go through the FSH because I see my buddy Algies is in the chat and he wants to know about your coin minting, which we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the booth market. But let's get to the little slideshow. Now, guys, forgive me. I slapped this slideshow together literally minutes before the show, so it's nothing fancy, but it's what we got. So here, let's take a look at some of these pictures here. This is a good one. Wait, that's good. This is a good one here. This is like, look at the fire going up and everything. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is a picture from behind the ship that we had all of our sacrifices on as it was burning. And I'm kneeling before the altar, and the flames look like they're all around me, even though that they're not. It's just the foreshadowing, but it came out nice, atmospheric.
Yeah, that's a really cool. That gets you fired up. So I can't wait till we're going to talk about your statues and everything. But on the stali here, the altar table, you had a pretty ornate, beautiful looking altar. You can't really see it here. There might be a picture a little bit later on that has more of what contains on it. But could you tell us what the altar table, when the Irminfolk performs bloat, what does it usually contain?
The main thing that it contains, you'll see there's behind the statue of Odin, you see this wooden box. It's actually what the camera's propped up on right now. And that is my kit. It's got everything in there. So by Odin's arm, you see our leuchter that we use to ignite and hold the sacred flame. And it always has a beeswax candle on it, appropriate for whatever time of year. To the far right of the screen there, you'll see the moot horn, and that horn is a gift to us from Robert Taylor, who, as far as we know, that is the oldest moot horn in modern Elsatru. He's been using it since at least 1968. So thousands and thousands of people have passed and said good words over that horn. I keep my ritual accoutrements there. There are sacred bowls that are only used in ritual. There are extra bowls for certain other rites, like the new one that we performed over the weekend. I had to get an extra bowl for that. A few extra containers that are historical replicas that I make here that are little silver cups and everything to keep the spices and everything in for the different bloats. And the star of the show this year was the 3 statues, which I'm sure that'll end up with its own segment.
Yeah, we'll get over that because you made these statues and they deserve their own segment there. But yeah, this this bloat that Mike performed on last Saturday was probably, actually, I'm just probably hands down, it was like the most beautiful ceremony I've ever seen in my life. It was, your ceremony last year was obviously great. This one was like, and I've seen some, I've held some good ceremonies, if I, may be so bold, and I've been to other ceremonies that were really great. But as far as volume of people and ornateness and all of the steps and the ceremony being carried out and everything being said and the altar, everything was just, it was magic. It was magic.
The gods were working with us. I have a book I call the Codex, and in it has all of my rites and rituals. And like a priest would carry around, the lines that you have to read, little cues and reminders and different color writing to make sure you get everything right. And at midnight, on the night that we were packing up, I mean, we had been preparing for 3 days in my house here, getting ready for FSH. All of our core members were here. We had guests that were hitching rides with us, staying over, and chaos, just total chaos, pandemonium. And I realized that I don't have the ritual. It was just completely gone. It wasn't on our server. It wasn't in the hard drives. It was just gone. And so between midnight and 3 a.m. when I finally, because I had to be at the camp setting up by 9 a.m. and that's an hour and a half drive. So I had until about 3 a.m. I needed to get to sleep, and I rebuilt the entire ritual between midnight and 3 a.m. So that's what you witnessed. That was my fever dream, I guess. And I put that all together. And like I said, the gods meant for me to lose that other ritual.
And also we're probably going to talk about this a little later. You did you also included some of the work from Neurona Society in
Absolutely.
the Smearia
Absolutely.
ritual.
Yes. When I showed off the first statue that I oathed to make was Thor, the Ireland Thor idol, 18 inches approximately. It's right here. When I oathed to make that, I showed it to Mark of the Neurona Society, and he contacted me on the side, and he showed me the work that they were doing in the Smyrna ritual. And I think he actually gave me like a prototype copy of it. And I printed it out, I put it away, but I wasn't ready to animate or bring to life any of the statues until I had all three, as Adam of Bremen had said that there was a Odin, Thor, and Freyr. And I actually didn't know I would have Freyr ready for this. So everything just came together all at once, within a day of each other.
And just to let everybody know, Mike here is a complete nutcase with this. He sleeps like when he does this event, he sleeps like 2-3 hours a night. He's up all the time. He's running around like a maniac all day during the day, and then he gets drunk at night, and then he passes out, wakes up at 4 a.m. again.
I didn't pass out, not once.
Good stuff. All right, let's move along here. All right, we got two pictures side by side here, just some pictures of the folk. You have the lovely Miss Allison, member of the Irminfolk, and up here is you at the altar with, is that your codex there?
Yeah, that's the codex in my hand. I think I was preparing for the hand fasting in that scene.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then you got all the good folk gathered around. This was a big ceremony.
There's 100 people in that circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And then you have, obviously, Irminfolk has beautiful flags. Their flags are just tremendous, which you guys make, by the way, right?
Yeah, this flag here is the one in the slideshow photo, and that's our official banner. That's the one that we've blooded and everything. We have a second that has we did ceremoniously nail to the staff with little sunwheel fashion nails. And that one is, well, it was in Eastern Europe. It's back now, but I don't have it with me. But we have two major flags, like main ones.
Excellent. All right, let's move it along here.
There they are.
Yep. I got to put that picture twice. It's okay. So here are let's dive into the statues. These are what do you said? These are brass or bronze replicas?
They're bronze. They're bronze replicas, or very close approximations of three idols. The idols they're not from the same century, and they're not of the same scale. If you've seen the originals, they're small. They're little. I guess they were Mark and the Neurona Society have been doing some research into them, and they said that they would carry them around in a small pouch, the little statues, and they were for devotion on the run, on the move. You could just pour it out of like a dice bag, set up your altar really quick, and make a devotional space. And well, that was great. I had them, and I used to keep them on the altar. I used to set up a little scene, and it was they weren't really anything more than an accessory. They were small. So I was like, well, they need to be about the scale for what we're doing. So I started with the Ireland Thor. I think, is a ninth century. I might be wrong. I'd have to look it up, but I think he's a ninth century statue, and that was the first one. And of course, the first one's always the most challenging. I worked with an artist in Spain. It was in the middle of the pandemic, so everybody was stuck in the house with nothing to do, and I started that, and I had an oath to finish it, so I did, and I got that done in time. And then I started on Odin right afterward. And,
Incredible.
and the way that the scale of all of them is the way, if you look at the three statues side by side, they don't look anything alike. They don't look, there's no continuity between the three of the idols that exist today. So I just took a caliper and measured the eye. The width of the eye was how I scaled them to each other, so they look like they're from the same set, belong together.
And the Freyr one, you made that one like you finished like a day before the Hallowing, right?
Yep, I just finished it. In fact, the patina, I put the patina on, and it wasn't etching. It wasn't turning.
What's a patina?
It's a chemical, an acid compound that you spray onto bronze, brass, and whatever. It turns it green. And after a few weeks, if you notice, the Odin in this picture is just completely green because I'm letting it like kind of season until I like it. Then you brush it off with some Scotch Brite, and then it'll turn out like the Thor, which is more polished looking. It looks, deliberate. But in this picture especially, I had just applied the acid, and it wasn't having any effect. It wasn't until the extreme humidity at Folkish Summer Hallowing that Freyr started to turn green. So he's just about where I want him now, and then I'll go ahead and finish him up, and then wax. The final step is wax. The patina will keep getting greener and greener until it looks like the Statue of Liberty, and then you don't want it to go that far. You want to stop it at a certain point to aesthetics, and then wax it, and it'll stay that way for a couple hundred years.
Very cool. And could you give us a little bit of a walkthrough on what it takes to make one of these things?
Well, it all started with a designer in Spain that I contacted, and just so happened he was very familiar with artifacts and museum replicas, and apparently he had been asked by several museums to make replicas of things that they have in their collections. And so all I had to do was say the name, and he knew exactly what it was. And he didn't even charge me much. It was less than $100, really.
Wow.
And he gave me a 3D model to work from. And so I 3D printed them. You've seen them. I have, I've been printing the little ones. And from that little tiny 3D model, I was able to make the scale this up, make the replica, and build it up from there. And then the final phase was to turn it into bronze, make it into a bronze statue. And that's actually, I'm going to keep that process close to the chest because it's not ready to be put out there yet. But the final step is to create bronze statues. Invariably, everybody's asking for them. They want them. And I can't possibly put a price on them yet to be able to give them to people and make them available. I'm trying to figure out a way to make them available in like maybe hydrocal or plaster or something, and figure something out. But right now, sorry guys, I know everybody wants them. I have to make another set in order to make a mold, because they would have to be destroyed in order to make a mold, especially Thor and Freyr, because they have undercuts and places where the mold material would be entrapped, in between Thor's chest and the hammer. Definitely can't make a mold without destroying it. So I'll have to make another one, and maybe I'll make one 6 feet tall.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's move along here. All right, we got some more pictures of the folk here. Miss Allison here again, and a buddy of ours. I don't want to say his name or nothing, but a guy, young guy that came for his first time ever. I'm not gonna say where he came from or anything. Keep his anonymity. But he's a young guy. He's in his early 20s. This is his first event he ever came to. He actually saw this guy here. He saw I reached out to my buddy Tom from Survive the Jive. I was like, hey Tom, you gotta share the Summer Hallowing for us. And he did, because he's a great guy. He's my buddy. Cool. But he saw it on Jive's channel, and he just showed up, and he had a time of his life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he remember he won all the stuff at the raffle.
He's the luckiest person we've ever had at the raffle. He won like half of it.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, he won that sword there. He was winning hats and
He won
books.
2 of the same hat.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a great time. And there's actually quite a few younger guys in their early 20s that showed up.
Yeah, that was really nice to see.
Yeah. Really, really enjoyed that. All right, let's move along here. Here are the statues again in all of their glory.
Yeah.
If you guys can see, these things are actually pretty big. When you see them in person, they're actually pretty impressive.
Right there.
Yeah. How tall is his Odin here?
About 2 feet, about 23, 24 inches. But he gets a base, so he'll be over 2 feet once the base is attached.
Yeah. I know you mentioned about building a big one. Do you have plans on building some big ones?
Well, we have yes. The short answer is yes. Monumental scale is the plan. The only question is, where do we put it? It's I can touch my ceiling here and it won't fit, but we do have plans for monumental scale. And I may actually just get people involved with that, because it's going to be something that probably needs a little bit more than just me doing. It might need some assistance. So when that comes around, we'll maybe have a monumental idol building party or something, because it's going to be a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Have you guys noticed here? He has you can see the runic banners like right behind Freyr's back here, all around the sacred space. Mike puts up these runic banners, and they're really beautiful. It's really, really nice looking.
Thanks. There it is.
This was incredible.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike, can you tell us what we're looking at here?
So this was after the naming, or the Smyrna rite that we invoke to give the statues the presence of the gods, turn them from a equivalent to a garden gnome into a relic or an icon, and to breathe life into them. And that rite, that after they provided it, seemed to have created 2 situations, 2 miracles, I guess we'll call them. One was the very loud boom immediately after we said Thor's name. After during the rite, the forehead of the statue is smeared with the concoction, the sacred concoction that we made, and put on his forehead, and he's named. And I give you the name Thor and say the words to him. And this immediately was followed by a hail and a big explosion sound.
It was in the sky.
Yeah. It was like, whoa, okay. It didn't sound like thunder. It didn't sound like background noise. It was like a very, very big boom.
Yeah, as you guys can see, it was a completely clear night. Yeah. And as soon as he said Thor and everyone hail, there was like this like mysterious rumble in the skies. Like it sent chills down my spine. It was incredible.
It was absolutely caught everybody's attention. It was awesome. So one of the phenomenon that always occurs during Folkish Summer Hallowing, except it's been ratcheting up, is we always have some type of apparition in the smoke and fire of the sacrificial ship. So much passion and energy is in that ship. It's a very important part of our ritual, of our annual ritual, to make that sacrifice, to make that prayer. It brings us back together, right? It's such a vital component, and so much energy is released when that ship is burned and offered to the gods, that we always have something, apparitions of faces. One year we had a clear as can be image of a woman standing with her arms over her head holding a horn in the flames on the deck of the ship. And Allison actually has that tattooed on her forearm.
Incredible.
And so this year, just last night, when I finally had enough brain power still coming back online after the Hallowing to go through the pictures and process them, this popped up. And I couldn't believe it. It's the side profile of the Ireland Thor statue in the smoke above the remains of the ship as it's burning. it's pretty clear, and you could see it. And I think you have the slide with the side view. If not, it's on the Telegram being passed around everywhere. It's an amazing shot. The gods are with us. They for sure were with us, especially Thor, beyond any doubt.
When I saw this, I was blown away.
Yeah,
You know, when we look at stuff like this, we have to stay objective, right? Because there's
right.
always the possibility that it could just be the way the smoke's falling or whatever. Last year, so let me tell you, you guys, last year, there was some apparitions in the fire, and like a few of them popped up and they looked like faces, and we're like, you know, okay, these do look like faces, but they could just be the fire. And then more over and over, and some of them were so unmistakably um faces that
Yeah.
it was like, this is just beyond a shadow of a doubt. This was real spiritual phenomenon that we were witnessing,
It's not
real
dinosaur
evidence.
clouds or anything like that. You start to see things that you recognize, and forms that come from our lore. Uh, in fact, the image of the woman holding the horn above her head in the flames of our ship is actually a painting from the 1800s that I found, which is identical. So this is not an apparition that is rare, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. But yeah, I saw this, and it was just, it's
yeah.
incredible. Look, if you guys watching this, look at this, look close. This is like real supernatural, like spiritual phenomenon. This is literally a miracle. This is evidence
I,
that our
I,
gods are real, they are true, and they're with us.
and I can't even understand why there's like a parallax shape around where the I guess hat or helmet would be, because that it doesn't make sense. You know why my camera would do that. I tried to be objective, like, and say maybe I was standing too close to the statue, but I'm standing in front of the altar. The statue's to my rear in this in when this picture was taken, and I'm sure it's going to be passed around. Anybody who's welcome to open it up in the histogram. The only thing that you're going to see as a change to the photo is I did blur one person's face who asked me to. He was playing hooky from work. So,
But yeah, absolutely incredible. Incredible. All right.
wow.
So we got some arts and crafts with the kids.
Yep. Yep. This is Allison teaches a Pasanki class. It's a Ukrainian uh, egg decorating, very specialized egg decorating thing that they do in Ukraine, where they use layers of wax and different color dyes, and they make these beautiful eggs. I have a few of them upstairs, and different ethnic groups within Ukraine have different styles of doing the eggs, and she goes through all of that. But of course, the hands-on work is the star of the show. Everybody loves to paint these eggs up and put the wax, and they all get a candle and a little dropper. I forget what they're called, that puts the wax on in layers, and it's a fun little project. And they're very valuable when they're done.
Excellent. Yeah, Folkish Summer Hallowing is very, very kid centric. It's very
Yeah.
family friendly.
Yeah.
In years past, Odinism, also true, has gotten the stereotype of being for like it as being a sausage fest, right? It's like a bunch of guys that get together. There's never any women, and it's still kind of a it's really, we're not going to get into all that, but nowadays you go to one of our events, and wives are all present. There are more kids running around. They outnumber the adults.
They did. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
did. Officially, I think we had more children than adults.
Yeah. So it's we're growing, and what's really, really special, and I don't know if I'm gonna say, I don't think he minds, Mr. Don from Jersey, who,
Mm.
by the way, he gifted me this over this weekend some really, really cool pulp magazines and stuff.
Oh,
Some
cool.
real like artifacts.
That's awesome.
One of these days I'll do a video and show people. But Mr. Don, and he's just one example. His daughter and his son-in-law are both heathens,
Yeah.
and their children are all heathens.
Yeah.
3 generations.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we have a similar situation in the Irminfolk. One of our members who couldn't be there because they're caring for too many kids is about to be a third generation. So
Wow.
yeah, Yep.
Incredible. So we're growing. We are
Absolutely.
growing. We are some fertile people.
Yeah. Hail Frere.
All right. Here's one of the grown-up classes, right? This
Yeah,
is
leatherworks.
leatherworking.
Yep. Yeah. These guys have just been great. This year we had a lot of demonstrations from people that just volunteered to do it, who are our guests, and we know that they're capable. They have all the stuff. They just show up, and we can be hands off. And it's an awesome class. It was well attended. There was probably about 60 people at that class. And the
Wow.
product of this went into the raffle, and everything that was all the proceeds from the raffle go to help the kids fund to get kids to FSH for as cheap or as free or whatever we can as possible.
Yeah. And this fella here, he's cool as hell. Him and his wife, they run what's it called? Bone and Leather Works or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't
I
remember
should
what
have
it's
brought
called.
the brochure with me.
Yeah,
Um,
they make beautiful. Here's another thing about FSH. FSH, it's not like your typical you have like really high quality stuff there. You have folks that are making things out of silver and precious metals.
Yeah.
You know, you have necklaces that are worth, you could spend a couple $100 or you could spend a couple bucks and get something.
yeah. We try to keep it. We try to keep a big spread, like just in different categories of things. This year we had those that girl does the pottery. That stuff was beautiful. I've never seen pottery that just well executed. Just the precision was amazing.
Yeah, gorgeous. Also, lots of books for sale. Lots of We are some artful people.
Yeah. Our vendors are always just handmade craftsmen. Like so much of that stuff is just handmade. It's amazing stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
There it is. Yeah.
There's your codex and the statues here. This is a cool shot.
Yeah. That's my POV there. And as you can see, the codex is not a single book. It's actually just a leather cover, fake book. And I have these small booklets that I stack together to build the ritual for, because some rituals may be indoors. I have to change it. I can't use the outdoor version of it if it's indoors. You can't be lighting a bonfire and shouting too much if it's in somebody's house. And so I keep the codex loose. It's small little booklets. I stack them together, and they're play fast and loose, and that's why the FSH right was missing, because it'll turn up one day, but I'm not going to use it anymore. We have a better format.
Very cool. Oh yeah, and then Brother Shane says Knotted Bone Leatherworks is what they're
That's
called.
it. Yes.
Yeah, Knotted Bone. Beautiful stuff. I have one of their belts, actually.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so let's move along here. More pictures of the fire.
Yeah, there's the ship.
Yeah. Mike builds this big ass ship.
Well, the Irminfolk builds it. It's a collective thing. This was my idea, and I direct it. But the reason that we built the ship was that a few years ago we had a kind of a crisis of membership, as the way that organizations are difficult to keep running, and you can browbeat people or whatever. But really, I was like, what we need is a sacrifice to bring everybody back together. And so we put out the, hey, just gonna have a party in my garage, and we're gonna build a big ass ship, and we're gonna burn it. And that was like 2014, and now it's a tradition. So that was
incredible.
And it, it's the true sense of sacrifice. Because we all put so much energy and love and devotion into it, and then onto it, it is a vessel that carries people's devotion and sacrifices. A lot of people bring their garden, fruits from their garden, samples of the mead that they brew, and things that they put a lot of effort into, and it really helps to bring all of the energy together. It really centers us.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to point out, back with this one, you also probably, did you print these little booklets?
Yeah.
On top of
everything in house.
On top of being a jeweler and a caster and a woodworker and everything, Mike is also a like a little publisher. Which, by the way, Mike actually did the interior for the first 2 issues of Bizarre Archives plus some other stuff. So Mike is like was like pivotal in making the Bizarre Archives happen.
Yeah, I
But
have a background in page layout and design and stuff, so it
yeah,
was a no brainer. It's so easy. Like, I, it was fun. It was a fun project. Wasn't too long. Wasn't full of weird languages I don't understand. I didn't have to proofread any Greek or anything. So
oh yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out, you guys see the green here. When this thing goes up, because of everybody's, there's wine and mead and all kinds of stuff. There's all these like beautiful colors that come off the fire, and it's
yeah.
just it's beautiful. The fire, it's huge fire. The ship is burning. It's like nothing else you could. It's incredible.
The
I love
moment,
this.
if you looked up at the sky as the first star presented itself in the night sky, I believe it was Jupiter, and then the second star that presented itself was I think Mars. In any event, it happened to coincide with the colors of the flames as they were presenting. So we had a bright reddish purple flame and a green flame at the same time as these stars were coming. It was all just came together so well, just so beautifully.
Incredible. Some more of the ship burning.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, just here's a good one that give you guys an idea of the size of this thing that they build. This is an impressive I mean, it's a mock ship. You could
Right.
I don't think you could float this thing. It's a model.
Haven't
But
tried.
how big is this thing? It is like it's like 6 feet long, right?
No, it's longer. It's 96 inches from the bow to the stern. And actually, the older ship was slightly smaller. The actual size of it is the length of the interior of a Jeep Liberty. And then I bought a GMC Yukon, so now it's a little bit bigger, and that's what's dictating the size of the ship. So if I get a bigger car, we'll have a bigger ship.
I love it. All right. I think
Back
we
to
already
them.
looked at. Oh, that was the last of the slides there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I got a couple things I got to bring up to you. Folks really want to know about the coin minting, right? The Futh mark. Tell us about the Futh mark.
Yeah. So you ever see there was like a story, I guess it was on one of those true TV type of things of a group of people that their company was going under, and so somebody got the bright idea to take whatever money was left of the company and flew to Vegas and bet the whole thing on red, and he won. And he came back and it was like, enough money to run the company and get them out of all their hot water, and they saved the day. And everybody was just mad at him because it was like the stupidest, most irresponsible thing, but it worked. So you can't, success is the sole judge of right and wrong in that situation.
Yeah.
So I kind of, the Irminfolk was back in the beginning, back early. We were like a shoebox, cash box kindred. We had, just enough money for the next event in a cash box. We didn't really have a system in place for finances that we do now. And it was hard to, renting a place was like, we didn't have enough money even to put down deposits. I was like, we really don't, this ain't running well. Like, we can't be asking for, begging for money every time we do something. Let's put something together that's going to help us finance ourselves. And just so happened around that time was this thing called the Liberty Dollar. And this guy, Bernard von Nothaus, and he was making his own coins, and he ended up getting raided, and it was a big mess. So I took all of the lessons from him and all the things that he did to get himself in a whole bunch of trouble, and I just did the opposite, but I kept the basis of it. And the first coin that came out in 2013 was a replica of the Martin Eskelvinga. Actually, I have the painting over there of Thor fighting the Jotnar painted in 1862. I had that turned into a coin die for a 1 ounce copper coin. And we had so many thousands of that thing made. We pre-sold them and we made back our money very quickly. They were so popular. We still have a few left, but they're pretty sought after. These things have gone around the world. They've been in famous people's funerals. They've around the world. And that just really brought us from, hot dog and hamburger kindred to being able to rent spaces and have the finances to do things. Because the Futh mark, not only is it a cool coin, it has an intrinsic value because it's made of copper, but it also is, whenever somebody spends one with us, we're basically getting our inventory back to sell again. So it's a major fundraiser, and it's just fun. It's interesting. They promote, it promotes altitude, promotes heathenry. They're a curiosity item, and they're great. So for years after that, every year we did a new one, and we just been keeping up the program. However, we lost our mints, and in addition, precious metal prices and everything have risen in the last few years. We decided to just go ahead and do it all in house. So we went straight Gilligan's Island, the most primitive way possible, and I welded up that drop hammer that people got to see, and it's slow going, but it's fun. And it's our newest coin is a half pfennig, and I have one here. I don't know if this is going to come out too well, but there it goes. So it's Thor's hammer on one side and our logo on the back, and yeah, we're these are copper, and they are the exact same size, weight, and everything as the original British half pennies were for hundreds of
Mm,
years.
very cool. Very, very cool.
Big fun.
Yeah. So, and on top, like, so you guys got so much stuff. You got the Futh Mark going on, which is an impressive project. You have, you have a, you have a like a forum board on your website that folks that sign
Yeah,
up can use.
yeah. It's, I mean, it was kind of a, if we get deplatformed, we have our own servers. So that's why that's there. And because we lost a lot, everybody got kicked off of Facebook a few years ago, like across the board. It's a giant purge. And we couldn't access some of our material. So we put together a server and made our own cloud and our own forum. Just went back to old school. So we have a forum on our site.
And I also remember you saying that I don't know if you're working on or you have like a Boy Scout program. Is that right?
Yeah, we have like a little Wandervogel program. We do. It's been a little bit harder in the last like year, but we're getting back in the swing of things. We have a lot of hikes. In 2 weeks, we're doing March for the Fallen. We're going to be bringing some kids to that. But yeah, we have all kinds of outings for kids. We've done the Crayola factory. We went to a mine down in Scranton, the coal mine. The kids got to go like 500 or 600 feet underground and learn all about coal mines throughout the years. And these things are provided as we're a 501c3 nonprofit charity. So we hook up with other similar groups and do these outings. We went to the Museum of Natural History. They provided us with school buses. We drove down to Manhattan for the day once. So we have all of these things going on all the time. Lately, we've been a little slow on that, but we're going to get back into it. The sky fell in the last 2 years. So we're getting back and putting more stuff together. So there'll be more stuff coming. Like I said, we have March for the Fallen in 2 weeks. That's a little rough on the kids. They're not going to like it too much,
Yeah.
but we do have a few young kids going to that. Younger, my son's going. Yeah. So by next year, we'll be completely back on doing fun stuff all the time, like we always did.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And what else did I wanted to bring something else up, a little project that you guys got going on.
Well, let's see. Futhmark. We have a good and wellness.
Yeah, tell us about the good and well. That's a big thing.
So yeah, the way that our financial the way our finances work when we take in, we're a nonprofit charity. Everything has to be allocated to a purpose that fulfills our mission as an organization. And so like for example, you saw all of that raffle money from the raffle goes to making kind of like a fund for the kids for FSH to try and either make it free or whatever, and buy all the stuff. Like we buy so much stuff for the kids, so that money is allocated to that. Then there's a building fund. We're trying to buy land and whatever, and that money just goes into that fund and it goes for that purpose. But we have a third purpose, and it's one that we have what's called a good and wellness fund, and it's just we keep X amount of money on hand for people that are in severe need, like emergency need. And it all started many years ago. A good friend of the Irminfolk had his wife and kids had to go away. The house was cold, and he had no way of paying to keep the house warm. So he sent the kids away and only had one room in the house that he could keep warm. And so, without even asking, we got in touch with some people, and he just had a dump truck show up at his house with 16 yards of
Mm,
chopped firewood. And so we've had that tradition just keep going. And that's it's vital. It's vital to the community to have that. People get hurt, people lose their job or whatever. And you know we try to keep it like anonymous. It's just it just shows up and touches them. But every once in a while you have to tell them where it came from. But that's a major fun for us.
that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. There's so many organizations out there that kind of you sign up online, they take your money, and then that's just, see you later.
We try not to ever do that. I mean, every penny's accounted for. I mean, the meticulous accounting that we have is just Allison's our treasurer. The minuscule details of our funding is it's unmatched. I was just talking to the president of a labor union, and he couldn't believe how organized we were compared to them. I'm like, you have school buses and stuff going with.
That's incredible. So, if somebody wanted to sign up and join the Irminfolk, say they're in the area, they're on the East Coast, they're kind of in the Northeast, they're in our area, right?
Yeah,
And they wanted to join up. What is the process of joining, and what can they expect from joining?
So right now we're kind of in flux because we're going to be completely upgrading this process. But I'll give you a rundown of what it's going to be, because it'll be a couple of weeks and I'll be ready. We have what's called the auxiliary. All people have to meet us in this auxiliary in some way. You can join the auxiliary and not participate in anything, or you can join the auxiliary and you can come around and start petitioning to become a member after a certain amount of time. But generally, everybody has to come through that. That's our threshold. That's our filter. To make sure that you're what we're looking for, that there's a mutual trust there. And then after that, we're going to invite you, or you can ask to be invited, to become a lay member of the Irminfolk. And the lay members would be people that would become welcome around. They're at things, they're helping. We're getting to know you like a member of our kindred, but you don't have decision making. You don't have you can't make a motion at the thing. You're still learning. You're a neophyte, and that would be that level of membership. Then they can learn, build their rapport, build their skill set, and move on and take jobs and become people who move and shake their folk and make it happen. But step one is the auxiliary. And I'm working on, it's FSH was top priority, but I'm working on setting out new bylaws, and we'll have a new membership, like a person whose job it'll be to coordinate all the membership stuff real soon. So like I said, we've always been kind of a very private organization with one public thing throughout the year, but that model isn't sustainable anymore. So we're branching out.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And I do know on your website, I don't know if you still do this, but
Mhm.
if somebody that signs up and they sign up to pay the dues and like all that kind of stuff, you have some different membership levels. And if you sign
Yeah.
up for certain ones, you get like a collector coin or et cetera, et cetera. Are you guys still doing that?
So I'm trying to get the coins. I think 2023, we had, so on the one hand, we had minimum order requirements on the coins, and we were ordering, we would just make up a number and order 100 of each one or something. And then there would be one type of membership that was not popular. We would just be sitting on all the coins. They'd be just a waste by the end of the year. So now that we have a drop hammer, we might just be minting them ourselves as like a token. I got the idea from the Freemasons back like 100 years ago. They used to do that. When you pay your dues, you got a Mason penny. And then that's where I got the idea. So we'll bring it back in a new form, I think, because the expenses on it, just to have things manufactured, it's not cheap anymore. The world's a different place than it was 5 years ago. So like, I'd rather not waste the organization's resources on something that is trappings, if I can help it. And with the drop hammer, it actually gives us an opportunity to give a newcomer something to do. Hey man, make these coins. That'd be cool. and people get their hands-on experience with something that we actually do. So
Very cool.
I think that's going to be the plan.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Mike, we got like 7 minutes left, but I wanted to chat with you kind of about the future, like where we're headed as a community, as a nation, as a faith. Because, I've been in it for, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years. You've been in it longer than me. You're more of an OG than I am. And just me and my short decade in the faith, I have noticed a big change and the type of people that have started to come around, in the mentality and the worldview, and kind of just the just like everything about, not everything about it, but a lot the vibe of the community is different now.
More serious. There's so many people that actually want to see results, and they're not concerned with looking like some Ragnar Lodbrok character, or making it about themselves. That seems to be in the past, and that's great. No, that's great to see. I think that the most absolutely vital thing that modern heathenry needs is what I like to call the temple precinct, a organized cluster of buildings that are for the purpose of promoting heathenry and its peripheries. One of the things that the Irminfolk uses as a very important, unique differentiator is that we have spirituality, your individual relationship with the gods, your beliefs, and how you use your spirituality to improve yourself and make your life better. We have our religion, which is the organization of your spirituality. Your spirituality informs your religion, and vice versa, and creates a community. But we also have this praxis that has to come from all kinds. We have to learn how to be accountants, be agrarian. We have to learn a whole bunch of skills, how to be parliamentarian, how all of this stuff, and having a cluster of buildings that facilitates that creates jobs for our own people to colonize and work on. That, I think, is the path forward to power, to creating an actual power base for heathenry, and not rental space. And I think that that's the focus for the next at least 10 years to get that going.
That's music for me, bud. I think that I agree completely. I think that it's time that we wield power. It's time that we acquire the means and the institutions, even if we have to build them, that wield power, that wield influence, and have money. Right? That's like the biggest thing. Look at the Mormons, right? Why are the Mormons so powerful? They believe this kooky UFO religion. They're really nutty. I don't even know how anybody even believes that stuff. But look at you can't drive past one of their temples and not think that is a beautiful. It's a big gold statue, or a big gold castle with a big gold Jesus on top. Like, how is that not? That's a beautiful building that is just foreboding and just projects power. I want a big gold heathen cathedral, and I want there to be like missile silos on there. Like, we're okay, maybe not missile silos.
All right.
Got a little excited there. Sorry about that.
Anti-aircraft turrets.
Yeah.
I mean, these people have so much equity, and heathens tend to be poor. I mean, that's just they
working class.
Yeah, and they really don't. They don't have the capital to invest in expensive building. But collectively, if you put together programs that make it so that they're voluntarily contributing to something, we can do it. We have the manpower. There's well over 1,000 heathens right with, like I always say, a tank of gas of one another right in this area, and just organizing that and making sure that there is no chaos injected into it, either deliberately or because of somebody's a useless lunatic. We're the sky's the limit. We have the motivation. We just have to implement it. It's all here. We can do it. and maybe missile silos. I don't know. Some space program, I guess.
Yeah, galactic pagan supremacy. Just watch.
Absolutely. I'm gonna stomp a big Mjolnir onto the moon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, Mr. Mike, we are coming up on an hour here. Do you have anything in closing? Where can folks find the Irminfolk and everything like that?
Yeah, Irminfolk.com is our main page. There's links in there to all of our programs, all of our little side projects. We have our official store is futhark.org, and that's all of our merchandise and things to help you with your rituals and books and all that stuff. And those are our main sites. We have a few other things in the works, but those are the ones that'll keep you informed. And also our Telegram page, which is where so many of us are banned from Facebook. We have a hard time keeping up on there. So hit us up on Telegram.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Mr. Mike, thank you for coming on. Despite this being your first media.
Yep.
You're like a pro, bud. You're like a pro. Thanks. Excellent.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming and tuning in here on this interview here. Everybody, press 9 in the chat to hail the Irminfolk. Do it. Press 9 in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Follow me on Telegram, t.me/theBogLord. But if you're in the mood for some weird fiction, let me tell you, we got you covered. TheBizarreArchives.com. Fantasy, science fiction, cosmic horror, all kinds of great stuff, all kinds of pulp type stories from the golden era of fiction. Go over to thebizarrearchives.com and follow us on Twitter and Telegram at The Bizarre Archives. We got the Molybdus Articulate just came out, Sacred Times Part 1, Bizarre Archives 3, The Willows from Algernon Blackwood, and we got another book that's about to drop any day now, so go check it out. Buy books! Buy books! And I'll see you guys next time here on the Dave Martell channel. Hails and blessings to each and every one of you and your wonderful, beautiful families. And I hope to see every single one of you guys at Folkish Summer Hallowing next year. All right, everybody. Till next time. Hail.
Take care. Hail.